Hello and welcome to Fast and Factual. I'm Utsaf Parekh and here are the top stories of the day. Starting with updates from the Israel-Hamas war. At least 8 Palestinians were killed and 34 wounded in central Gaza yesterday after Israeli shelling. This is according to the Palestine Red Crescent Society. They added that a house in the region was reduced to rubble. Footage released by the Red Crescent Society showed several wounded people being rushed away to waiting ambulances. Meanwhile, Gaza health officials said that another Israeli strike hit 3 houses in southern Gaza's Rafah area. At least 20 Palestinians were killed in the attack. Tens of thousands of displaced Palestinians have taken shelter in Rafah, which is at Gaza's border with Egypt. This was to escape Israeli bombardment in the northern Gaza Strip. However, the Palestinians still fear for their lives in Rafah. Yemen's Houthi rebel group has said that they will not halt attacks on ships linked to Israel in the Red Sea. This comes after the US launched a Red Sea force to prevent attacks on the route. A senior Houthi official said, and I quote, "Even if America succeeds in mobilizing the entire world, our military operations will not stop." US Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin announced the launch of the Red Sea operation yesterday. The multinational operation aims to safeguard commerce in the Red Sea as the attacks by Iran-backed Houthis escalate. The White House said that the US is working with countries on the United Nations Security Council to resolve issues related to a draft resolution that demands aid be let into Gaza. Reports say the US wants to tone down language on a cessation of hostilities in the draft text. The current draft reportedly calls for, and I quote, "an urgent and sustainable cessation of hostilities to allow safe and unhindered humanitarian access." In other political news, the top court of the US state of Colorado has ruled that Donald Trump is ineligible to run for president. This is because of his alleged role in the 2021 assault on the US Capitol. The Colorado court added that Trump should be removed from the state's primary ballot. This makes Trump the first presidential candidate in US history to be deemed ineligible for the White House. Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador has said that his country was preparing to challenge a new law brought by the US state of Texas. The law aims to criminalize illegal border crossings into the US state. Obrador has called the rule inhumane. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said that he is confident that the US will not betray his country. He said this regarding US military aid to Ukraine. This comes as funds for American military aid to Ukraine are drying up. The White House has warned that funding for Ukraine would likely run out by the end of December if it is not renewed. An official in the Russian-controlled Donetsk region accused Ukraine of firing shells yesterday. They hit an apartment complex in the region. Firefighters put out a blaze that severely damaged a number of buildings in the complex. The Russian-installed official added that a number of civilians had been wounded in Ukraine's attack without giving any numbers. Chinese Premier Li Qiang met with Russian Prime Minister Mikhail Mishustin in Beijing yesterday. Both countries agreed to jointly safeguard energy security and ensure a safe and stable industrial supply chain. The meeting took place on the first day of a 2-day visit by Mishustin to China's capital. Mishustin is also said to meet Chinese President Xi Jinping during the visit. In China, volunteers prepared emergency supplies for residents displaced due to Monday night's earthquake. Supplies like food, water, tents, stoves and futons were transported by local volunteers in the affected Qinghai province. The quake has killed at least 127 people so far. A powerful cold wave in the country is hindering rescue and relief efforts. The United Nations Security Council held a meeting on North Korea yesterday. This comes following Pyongyang's launch of an intercontinental ballistic missile, or ICBM, on Monday. North Korea said that it had tested its newest ICBM to gauge its readiness for a war amid mounting US hostilities. In Bangladesh, 4 people were killed after 3 compartments of a train were set on fire by protesters. Footage shared on social media showed huge plumes of smoke rising out of the train. The tragic incident took place during a countrywide strike. Bangladesh's main opposition party had called for the strike, demanding that the government resign ahead of next month's general election. In climate news, the US has introduced a proposal to ban logging in old-growth forests. Old-growth forests are usually those that are over 120 years old. The aim is to protect millions of trees that are crucial for combating the climate crisis. The proposal seeks to address significant threats to old growth and preserve not only the forests but also the cultural and heritage ties associated with them. But its outcome depends on the 2024 US election. Regulators from the US state of California have approved new rules allowing drinking water agencies to recycle wastewater. The agencies can then introduce it to the drinking water supply. This marks a significant step in addressing the state's persistent water challenges. The new rules mandate a thorough treatment for pathogens and viruses before the water is considered safe. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency has sought White House approval for a rule allowing expanded sales of higher ethanol gasoline in specific Midwestern states. The proposal faced opposition from the oil industry, warning of supply chain issues and potential gasoline price increases. The ethanol industry advocates lifting nationwide restrictions on sales, emphasizing lower costs and disputing environmental concerns. Ethanol is a domestically produced alternative fuel made from corn and is cheaper by volume than gasoline. According to Harvard University scientists, satellite data revealed that Mexico emitted extreme amounts of methane from a natural gas pipeline in 2019. The pipeline transporting natural gas from the United States to Mexico was identified as the source of emissions. Methane is considered a top climate threat as it warms the planet much faster than carbon dioxide. The recent Icelandic volcano eruption has raised concerns of gas pollution. According to the country's meteorological office, gas pollution could reach the capital city of Reykjavik. Following weeks of seismic activity, fumes are expected to impact Iceland's capital today. 4 Brazilian meat processing companies are facing a lawsuit where prosecutors are seeking millions of dollars in environmental damages. The case has been filed by Brazil's state of Rondônia. It accuses the meat companies of directly buying cattle raised illegally in the protected areas of the Brazilian Amazon rainforest. According to reports, the lawsuit seeks $3.4 million in ecological damages. A bushfire near South Africa's Simonstown prompted officials to issue cautionary alerts yesterday. The nearby city of Cape Town stated that evacuations weren't necessary yet, but acknowledged the fire's close proximity to properties. Cape Town authorities say the situation is being monitored closely. Heavy rain has brought parts of India's Tamil Nadu state to a standstill. Roads and train services are disrupted while authorities work to rescue stranded individuals. Over 17,000 people have been shifted to shelter camps. Tamil Nadu experienced nearly 50 millimeters of rainfall between 17th and 18th December, significantly surpassing the usual 2.5 millimeters for this time of year. Now on to business and tech news. Toshiba has been delisted from the Tokyo Stock Exchange after 74 years. This comes after it was taken over by Japan Industrial Partners earlier this year. In March, JIP bought Toshiba for $14 billion. This was after multiple scandals at the company over the years marred Toshiba's operations. Lakshman Narasimhan, the CEO of the coffee chain Starbucks, has said people protesting against the company have been influenced by misrepresentation on social media. He said this referring to people who are protesting against the company's stance on the Israel-Hamas war. Narasimhan added that many of Starbucks' stores have experienced incidents of vandalism. The company is working with local authorities to ensure the safety of its workers and customers. The Australian Federal Court has ordered Airbnb to pay $10 million in penalties. It must also pay another $10 million in compensation. This comes after the vacation rental firm admitted that it misled customers on accommodation pricing in Australia. Airbnb misled customers by displaying prices using only the dollar sign, without clarifying whether the prices were in US dollars or Australian dollars. Reports say Tesla is not offering its employees yearly merit-based stock awards. However, workers were paid out modest annual increments. The news comes after America's United Auto Workers Union earlier announced that it would organize the entire non-union auto sector in the US. South Korea's Hyundai Motors is planning to sell its plant in Russia for a nominal amount of $77. Hyundai said it would take a nearly $219.2 million loss on the sale. The move makes it the latest global automaker to sell Russian assets. This is after Russia invaded Ukraine in February last year. The union representing the pilots of US-based Southwest Airlines has reached an agreement with the company. This is for a new 5-year contract worth $12 billion. The contract covers higher wages and better work rules. The union's board will meet today to evaluate the deal. They will then decide whether to send it to the pilots for a ratification vote. More big oil and shipping firms in Britain, Germany, Norway and Belgium have suspended transit through the Red Sea. This comes amid mounting fears of attacks from the Yemen-based Houthi rebel group. British oil and gas heavyweight BP decided to temporarily pause passage through the route. BP is joined by Germany's Hapag-Lloyd and Norway's Equinor. Earlier, Denmark's Maersk and France's CMA CGM had suspended their Red Sea transits. Google has agreed to pay $700 million to settle an antitrust case brought by states and consumers in the US. Eligible users will get at least $2 each. Google was accused of overcharging customers on its Play Store. This was allegedly through unlawful restrictions on the distribution of apps on Android devices. Brazil's First Lady has said that she will sue the social media platform X, formerly known as Twitter. This was after her account was allegedly hacked last week. The alleged hacker entered her account on December 11th. They posted several messages, including insults against Brazil's First Lady and President Lula da Silva. Jeff Bezos' aerospace company Blue Origin successfully launched the New Shepard rocket from the US state of Texas yesterday. This was the company's first mission in over a year. Last year, a structural failure in one of its rockets led to the company being grounded for 15 months. Moving to sports, let's start with cricket. South Africa beat India by 8 wickets in yesterday's ODI match. India batted first and were bowled out for 211 runs in the 46th over. South Africa chased down the total in the 42nd over. Tony de Zorzi scored his maiden ODI century to guide the Proteas to victory. The 3-match ODI series is now tied at 1-1. England beat the West Indies by 75 runs in yesterday's T20 match. Phil Salt smashed 119 runs for England. Half-centuries by captain Jos Buttler and Liam Livingstone helped England reach the mammoth total of 267 runs. The West Indies batters put up a good fight but were bowled out for 192 runs in the 15th over. England have recovered from 2 losses and have now tied the 5-match T20 series at 2-2. The Indian Premier League held its player auction for the 2024 season yesterday. For the first time ever, the auction was held outside India. It took place in Dubai. Australian pacer Mitchell Starc broke the record for the most expensive player in IPL history. Starc was sold for $2.97 million to the Kolkata Knight Riders. In football, the Turkish Football League has resumed all games after a week-long suspension. However, heavy security was seen both inside and outside football stadiums. Last week, the Turkish Football League had been suspended after the Ankara Guju club's president punched a referee in the face. English club Manchester City beat Japanese club Urawa Red Diamonds 3-0 in the Club World Cup. Man City were handed the lead in the first half after an own goal by an Urawa Reds defender. In the second half, Mateo Kovacic and Bernardo Silva scored for the Sky Blues. Man City now face Brazilian club Fluminense in the Club World Cup final on Friday. Chelsea beat Newcastle United to reach the EFL Cup semi-final. The League Cup game was tied 1-1 at full time. The Blues won 4-2 on penalties as the Magpies failed to convert 2 chances. Chelsea will now play the semi-final in January next year. Meanwhile, Fulham also entered the EFL Cup semi-final after beating Everton. Their match was also tied 1-1 at full time. Fulham managed to edge past Everton 6-7 on penalties in a nail-biting finish. The draw for the League Cup semi-finals is yet to be announced. German forward Thomas Müller has extended his contract with Bayern Munich until 2025. After the extension, Müller said he was happy to continue his journey at Bayern. The striker has won 32 trophies with the German club. Müller is also Bayern's second highest scorer of all time with 237 goals. In hockey, Germany beat India 3-2 in the men's Five Nations tournament. The Indian team took an early lead with 2 goals in the first quarter. Germany then fought back and scored 3 goals to snatch the win away from India. The Five Nations tournament is being played in Spain. India, Germany, Spain, France and Belgium are the participating nations. In basketball, the Memphis Grizzlies beat the New Orleans Pelicans 115-113 last night. Ja Morant scored 34 points for the Grizzlies to guide them to victory. This was Morant's first time on court after serving a 25-game suspension. He had been banned by the NBA for posting stories on social media which showed him holding handguns. In entertainment news, singer Britney Spears revealed the aftermath of the gym fire she accidentally caused in 2020. She took to Instagram to show images of her charred basement with burnt workout equipment. Spears wrote that it was an accident with candles and she's grateful that no one got hurt. Singer Madonna disclosed details about her recent hospitalization due to a bacterial infection. While performing in New York, she said that she was in an induced coma for 48 hours for her treatment. In June this year, the 65-year-old pop star spent a few days in the ICU due to the infection. Singer Celine Dion's health condition has worsened. Her sister revealed that she doesn't have control over her muscles anymore. This is because of stiff person syndrome. Stiff person syndrome is an autoimmune disease that causes muscle control challenges. Dion's health issues emerged last year when the disease started affecting her vocal cords. Singer Lizzo's attorneys have filed a motion to dismiss a lawsuit brought by a former employee. The employee, called Asha Daniels, has sued the singer for harassment and discrimination at the workplace. Lizzo's legal team is arguing that the lawsuit is meritless and salacious. They claim that Daniels failed to perform assigned work and abandoned her post on the day of a concert in Paris. Comedian Russell Brand faced a second round of questioning by London police regarding sexual offence allegations. The police confirmed that a man in his 40s visited a South London police station. Brand has been accused of rape, sexual assault and emotional abuse by multiple women this year. Brand has denied all the allegations. Actor Cameron Diaz denies claims that actor Jamie Foxx was disruptive on the sets of their upcoming movie Back in Action. In a podcast, Diaz defended Foxx, describing him as a positive influence and a thorough professional on set. She cleared the air by saying that all the hiccups that happened throughout production were natural things that happen. Diaz also said that the delay due to Foxx's medical emergency in April is not something that she can comment on. The filmmakers temporarily used a body double to replace Foxx on set for the film's final scenes after he was hospitalized. The cast of the Amazon Prime show Gen V are promoting their show now, which was delayed by the Hollywood actors' strike. In an interview, actor Lizzie Broadway said her show addresses political and social issues with courage. Arnold Schwarzenegger's son Patrick Schwarzenegger highlighted the uniqueness of Gen V in poking fun at the superhero world. Gen V is an American superhero TV show and a spin-off of the series The Boys. The show follows young adults who aspire to join an elite superhero team known as The Seven. Director Christopher Nolan is positive about the state of the movie industry as 2023 comes to an end. He reflected on the success of his film Oppenheimer. In an interview, Nolan expressed his happiness that audiences turned out for a 3-hour R-rated biographical drama as if it were a blockbuster action film. He saw this as a positive sign for the industry and expressed confidence in the future. Streaming platform Netflix has renewed its series My Life with the Walter Boys for a second season. The show follows the story of a 15-year-old girl who relocates from Manhattan to rural Colorado after a tragic family accident. The series has been adapted from a book written by author Ali Novak. China's Shanghai Disney Resort is set to open a Zootopia-themed attraction today. Zootopia released in Chinese cinemas in 2016. It remains one of the highest-grossing foreign animated films in the country. This marks Disney's first Zootopia-themed site and the 8th themed area at Shanghai Disney Resort. That's all for this episode of Fast and Factual. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned to Firstpost.